think it was definitely an interesting experience. I think the amazing part about USC is it actually has the largest international student body in the States. So from that perspective, I think it's very easy culturally. The the environment was obviously amazing. USC has that long reach and they have a great campus, they have great facilities. So that was quite an easy transition as well. AES had that as well in Delhi. And I think all of that together made it quite an easy transition for me. It was quite welcoming here.
Great. So in terms of the academic sort of rigor and the requirements, how did you sort of map things out in your initial days at USC? What resources did you use, and how did you sort of get your mojo in terms of figuring out what
Sure.
works for you, studying, and then gradually finding
Sure.
what major you want to sort of focus
Sure.
on?
I mean, I was a little bit luckier in that I always had sort of a view of exactly what I wanted to study, and it ended up being economics. So I came in with that mindset already. I came in as an economics major. Obviously, some people have the ability to come in undecided and figure it out, but I had that already mapped out for me. And something I found quite early on is very useful is building your rapport with professors. So I thought that I would go to office hours, get engaged with them early in the semester, give them sort of an explanation of exactly what I wanted to achieve from the class, what I was looking for out of it, and if anything, what I thought might be something I'd struggle with, and then how they could help me. Just early on, one of the first few weeks, once you get started after the syllabus and getting introductory days over, you really start to get a feel of what the class is going to be like. So I think it's important to go to the professors and do what I just said. And another thing is also exploring the resources the departments had. So what I did was speak to the advisors early on, map out exactly, roughly, what I wanted my 4 years to look like. And I sort of made an Excel file and populated it with classes that I wanted to take. Because, some semesters classes are offered, others they're not. So working out that also helped me out.
Great. And in terms of knowing that you want to study economics and then ending up doing quantitative economics, which luckily turned out in your case to be a STEM major, what is a quantitative economics curriculum? How do you sort of proceed with that as you sort of go to your upperclassmen years?
So the difference really between quantitative economics and economics is in the math requirement. So some schools have a math econ option as well available to them, and that will be quantitative. But really, it's up to the school whether the curriculum is quantitative enough. A quantitative curriculum essentially means you'll have econometrics, you'll have more modeling, you'll have more manipulation of data and the presentation of data, and it'll probably be a little bit more research heavy. So that's the general difference. As long as you're comfortable with math, really, it's the right way to go.
Fantastic. So modeling, research, all of this are skills, of course, any major would require. Doing it in combination with economics makes you ready for consulting jobs, iBanking jobs, or what traditional paths do students follow? We'll talk about your journey in entrepreneurship and interest in entrepreneurship, but just before that, I just thought, what do general graduates from doing a major in quantitative economics usually end up doing?
I think the good thing is economics itself is quite a broad subject. So you can do consulting quite easily. You have that logical base. So that's a great foundation to have. For investment banking, you already have the comfort with manipulating data. So you're able to model stuff, conduct valuations, etc., which is what you're essentially going to be doing as an investment banking analyst. And you have other fields that you could go into as well that perhaps people haven't thought of, which is tech. I think a lot of quantitative economics programs introduce you to basic computer science as well. And so you can go into that tech space and that venture space if you put in a little bit extra work on the side or as a minor to learn those skills, then even that's open to you.
So you end up also doing a bit of CS and
Right.
data science along the way.
Right.
Which courses did you take up to sort of learn more about data science and say CS?
So I actually took a few basic computer science classes. I took some classes on C++. I was already comfortable with Python, and the most useful one in economics is something called Stata, and that's just a modeling program to visualize data. So those are the general ones that you get to use in economics.
Excellent. Also, your interest in knowing about entrepreneurship, pretty much since high school, I've been following that you have that passion to do something. What was it like using resources at Marshall, and you also ended up doing a concentration in finance there? How does it work? Is it really easy to sign up for classes at Marshall if you're not a business sort of major? And what choices did you make learning not just finance, but topics related to entrepreneurship that attracted you?
So one of the interesting things is I think Marshall is very visible on campus. So you're always going to have opportunities to interact with it, whether it be in an academic setting or outside the class. So you can get involved in Marshall activities like clubs and the venture fund, which is an investing fund, or a student fund where they invest part of the endowment, even if you're not anywhere close to finance or Marshall. But I had a minor, and I think the best way to get most out of Marshall is to be either a major there or a minor. And the minor isn't generally too difficult on anyone. It's quite easy minor in that you won't have to take too many classes, so it won't mess with your existing curriculum, whatever it may be. So I took quite a few different classes. Something I was interested in extensively is financial derivative trading, and I'd been exposed to options for a while, and so I took a class in that at Marshall, which is quite a high level class, and we modeled it, back tested different types of strategies, and invested in a simulation. So that was interesting. I did valuation work, which is the class just focuses on M&A type work, which you would do in investment banking. You'd be exposed to in private equity, really all forms. And a few other different classes, basic accounting, basic finance, and it really just gives you a wide variety of things. You don't really specialize in the minor, but you can really just pick whichever way you want to go.
Now let's talk a little bit more about your interest in entrepreneurship. And I know that really excites you, and you're also involved in the Entrepreneurship World Cup as an advisor. We'll learn more about that. But tell me a bit about Marshall and LA as in a place for entrepreneurship ideas and the support that you got, or people that you met, the clubs that you joined, which led you to sort of your journey in entrepreneurship.
Sure. So Marshall has quite a few clubs, and USC does as a whole, that focus on investing in different forms. So whether that's trading, block, crypto, the venture fund, which is investing in student startups or supporting student startups, or investing in the endowment, it has that in various forms. So entrepreneurship is widespread on campus. I think that was something quite interesting, seeing all the different clubs and giving students access to real capital and being able to actually deploy that.